It gets increasingly difficult to do the right thing in this world. We all have our limitations. But what if I said to you, there was a way of doing inestimable good and with no effort or cost to yourself? Sounds too good to be true. Well, today's 10-minute tale is a sort of advertising feature. You'll see why in a minute. It's called The Most Good You Can Do by Lying Down Without a Bulldozer in Sight. It's a question we all must have asked at some time or another. Whatever happened to the Jacobs Club biscuit? Why do we not see it on the shelves in shops anymore? Well, the first question is easy to answer. Google will explain all. The answer to the second has only just occurred to me in a sort of Damascene flash of inspiration, because I've seen them. I know where they are, and what's more, how you can get hold of them for free. And you can do a lot of good for your fellow human beings at the same time. Yeah, but first, for those who don't take a lunchbox to work or have never been to school, the Jacobs Club biscuit is, or was, a chunk of chocolate with a biscuit middle. Originally, there were two biscuits sandwiched together with some species of filling in between. But it's not the biscuit that is significant. It is the chocolate applied in a deep, deep, smooth layer, smothering the biscuit. A chocolate of such wonderful and rewarding density that it positively snaps crisply in your mouth. But most important is that with such chunkiness and solidity, it is possible to bite the chocolate away in satisfying chunks from the biscuity bit, leaving a smooth, apparently untouched interior. It takes skill and expertise, but if your mother persisted in putting them in your lunchbox throughout the whole of your school career, you could become a proficient by the time you reach the sixth form. Now, this whole assemblage is wrapped in a thick layer of silver foil, so shiny you can see your face in it. And then a further paper sleeve that you could slide off and make a mini telescope with. Now, this paper sleeve was coloured to denote the variety of club to be found inside. Red, the original milk chocolate. Green, the original but in plain. Orange, guess what? The orange flavour. Purple with fruity bits. Dark green, mint. Brown, coffee. Blue, cocoa. And dark blue, wafer. Originally made in Ireland in the early 1900s, and with a factory established in Liverpool in 1907, the company survived the partition of Ireland, but split into separate Irish and British companies only in 1972. In the dark days of the 1990s, the British club was bought by the French firm Danone. Now, I'm not going to add to any anti-European sentiment, but honestly, what on earth a manufacturer of so-called healthy milk-based products was thinking when it acquired a staple British chunk of chocolate loveliness, I cannot begin to imagine. And sure enough, as soon as the French got their hands on our favourite chunk of chocolate, they couldn't resist tampering with it. In the same way that Nestlé, admittedly a Swiss firm, did with our Kit Kats, and Kraft did with our beloved Cadburys. Oh, mourn for the fate of the British chocolate industry, and more particularly, mourn for the fate of the club biscuit. During this time, the biscuit sandwich was reduced to a single biscuit. The original red was discontinued, and then the green and the brown and the blue and the dark blue. All that remained from this humiliation was the orange, the purple and the mint. But don't lose heart, there is good news. In 2004, there was a triumphant homecoming. Club biscuits were bought by British firm United Biscuits. Sadly, the Jacobs brand was still in the hands of the Irish company, and after a period of legal wrangling, ours were rebranded as McVitie's. Now a mere shadow of its former majestic self, it does still tower over other similar brands. It's still the same iconic piece of deliciosity, and here they remain once more clinging just about onto the pinnacle of British biscuit making. And to add some lustre to this part of the story, in 2012 they launched the honeycomb flavour. Except the McVitie's Club seems puzzlingly absent from many shop shelves. They are stocked, but in such small quantities compared to their heyday that you would think some conspiracy may be at work. Well, perhaps you're not all that far from the truth, but I know where they have gone and where they are now. Even more importantly, I know how to get your hands on one. The fact is, they have been acquired by a government agency and even now reside in what must be a vast stockpile somewhere, probably in deepest Essex. We're never told is a warehouse stuffed to the rafters with pallets and cases and outers and inners of club biscuits. Just imagine the final shots of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with all those packing cases marked McVitie's Club biscuits. But wait, in case you're immediately triggered to rush out onto the streets waving placards denouncing this intrusion on confectionery democracy, let me reassure you that this enormous stockpile is there to enable the work of a vital branch of our beloved NHS, one that is absolutely fundamental and vital in its work. It is called the NHS BT, and this is where you come in. This is where you help your fellows, babies, the elderly, people undergoing operations, in accidents, suffering from diseases of all colours and denominations and races, everybody. And you can do all this by having a bit of a lie down and be plied with cups of tea and, enormous reward, a club biscuit. Maybe 2 from the government stockpile, different varieties. Imagine that. A lie down, a cup of tea served by noble people from the NHS, and as many club biscuits of any denomination as you can manage. And you don't have to pay a penny. All you have to do to be the beneficiary of this largesse is to give up half an hour of your time and allow our gallant medical staff to stick a needle in your arm and take a bit of blood that you don't need anyway. You've got more than enough. It's simples. The most good you can do by taking it easy, having a cup of tea and a club biscuit. Yes, the NHS BT is, of course, the National Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service. But I urge you to sign up today if you're able, and if you haven't already. I've put some contact details at the end. Well, I hope you like this little advertising feature for Jacob's Club Biscuits. Seek them out. More important, go and see if you can do some good with the blood donation service, if you can. Bye for now.